With the month of January ending very bearishly for Bitcoin, do we see more upside for February or is more downside coming? Let's find out. Welcome back to Flex Candle, where we read the candles and flex the moves. Right now it's about 4:20 p.m. Eastern time and the price of Bitcoin is currently at 76,570. We're gonna start off here with the monthly chart, and we see here that we went as high on the monthly candle for January as 97,924. Basically that's when we went to the 98k. We opened at 87k, so we did around a $10,000 move there. We went as low as 75k, so we basically went down $20,000 or more from the top, and we ended up closing at 78,741. We can see we're below the 21 moving average, which is at 88,871. I told you guys if we lose that 21 moving average, it might get worse, and this candle is already opening red and we're getting down lower. The next line of defense here is this 50 moving average. That's at 57,227. The stochastics RSI are still way below the dotted line here, and it still does not show no sign of wanting to turn back up. Now if we look at the 2-month time frame, we can see that the stochastics are already on the way down, and look where the 21 moving average is. That's at $61,809. so that looks like we could flush down there as well. And on the 3-month chart, we're just getting started on the stochastics getting rolled over, and the 21 moving average there is at 55,830. Now today we have the 2-week chart closing in the next 2 hours and 40 minutes, and this is going to close very bearishly. This is a red engulfing candle. We're going to close more than likely below the 50 moving average at 87,822, and it looks like we're headed for this 80 moving average at 67,237. Stochastics RSI look to roll over again. The RSI is below 50 and it's also rolling over. Take a look at the weekly, also closes in 2 hours and 40 minutes. We're about to close pretty much for the second week in a row below the 100 moving average. And I always tell you guys, once you lose a 21, the next one's the 50. Once you lose the 50 is the 80. Once you lose the 80 is the 100. Once you lose the 100 is going to be the 200 that we're going for next. The VRVP, we're right in the red line right now, and we're about to hit this high volume node at $67,903. If I put on the patterns, this is the bear flag, and this is exactly where the measure move to that bear flag goes. So it looks like we're headed there. The stochastics RSI look like they want to roll over. The RSI is on the way down as well. The only thing is that the 21 moving average is kind of far away from us, so I probably expect us to head down to about 67k, and from there maybe go sideways, maybe rally back up into the 70s, into the 80s, maybe before going down. At some point we're going to go back and test the 50 moving average. That's currently at 100,761. I speculate that we won't do that until the 50 moving average is below 100k. Maybe when it gets around 98, 95k, maybe we go back up and test it at some point, see what ends up happening. But right now things are just continue to look more bearish for Bitcoin. Quick heads up before we continue, I'm about to release the Flex Candle beginner course where I break down how to read candles, structure, indicators, and actually plan trades the right way. If you're interested, email me at flexcandle2025@gmail.com and just write, "I want the course." Anyone who emails me before the launch will get a 50% discount when it drops in the next week or two. We take a look at the 4-day chart. We lost the 200 moving average. This candle also closes in 2 hours and 40 minutes. If it closes like this, we're headed for the 5-day 200 moving average, and we're right there. That's at 71,890. We lose the 5-day, then we're headed for the 6-day. That's at 63,757, and then the next one is going to be the weekly at 57. So everything's indicating that we're going to at least get into the 60s, and we could probably get even into the 50s right now, short term within these next couple of months. Head over to the 3-day chart. This is horrible. We're way below the 200 and the 21 moving average. Again, like I tell you guys, if we get too far away from 21, we have to at some point come back and retest it. Either the 21 has to come down lower and we meet it halfway, or we got to come up and test. The stochastics still look like they want to roll over. The 2-day chart, stochastics still have not reset either. On the 1-day chart, this is where I had the head and shoulder pattern, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and we hit the exact measured move. We got even lower. I also have originally the bear flag here. As you can see, we already have more than half of the measured move of the bear flag. Those stochastics are still low. I'm starting to see some curvature here, but that doesn't really mean anything. When we're bearish, these stochastics could drag here for a long time. We can only go halfway and then roll over again. Again, the only thing going for us is that we are far away from the 21 moving average. The 22-hour chart still has has to reset. The 10-hour chart, we're seeing some bullish divergence, but bullish divergence in a bear market doesn't play out the same way as it does during a bull market. On the 4-hour chart, look at this, stochastics with bullish divergence here, but that hasn't done much. It looks like we're about to roll over again. So it looks like we're going to go for a lot lower prices. The 21 moving average has come down a little bit. That's currently at $81,402. The 200 moving average is at $90,000. That's so far away. So first, now there's going to be crazy resistance here at around $80,000, $81,000. We haven't even seen $80,000 again since we got to 75K. So that's the new resistance. Once we lost 80K, now we're going to start playing the range between 75 and 80K, possibly now between 70 and 80K. If we lose 70K, then we're going to start playing into the 60s. On the 1-hour chart, stochastics also on the way down. RSI rolling over. Look at this, rounded top on the RSI. We cannot get above the 50 here. Here we're close to the 50 moving average. This looks like a bear flag here. Here looks like we're going to continue dipping. Let's see how this plays out. This is also looking like a rounded top. If I draw a bear flag here, it already looks like we started breaking down from the bear flag, and the measure move to this will take us to 71, which is what everything else is telling us, that we want to get down to around 71 or possibly below 70. If we go to the 15-minute chart, stochastics here, look, they went up, they're about to roll over again, and we got rejected off the 21 moving average. Look how we're riding the 21. We cannot get above it. We haven't even got close to the 200 moving average. That's at 80,000. So right now, guys, I'm seeing more downside. I'm expecting this bear flag that I have drawn here on the weekly and the daily just to continue towards its measured move here. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see 71, 70K or even all the way down to 67K. All right, guys, so that's the breakdown. If this gave you clarity or a setup to watch, do me a favor, like, drop a comment, subscribe. And if you have a stock or crypto you want me to go over, drop it in the comment section. This is Flex Candle, where we read the candles and flex the moves. Catch you on the next chart.